My name's Gordon Knapp. I'm the marriage and parenting pastor here at Pathway, and we are going to share just a little bit of our vision of why we do marriage ministry around here and why that's so important. Number one, we believe and we know that from Scripture that marriage comes from God. It is the first gift that God gave us shortly after He gave us the breath that we breathe. Before Jesus, we were given the gift of marriage. That's not to say that it's more important than Jesus at all, but I'm just saying in the chronology of things, marriage was one of the first gifts given to us by God. It's instituted by God, and we believe that marriage has lost its significance in our culture and that we need to be a church and we need to be a people that elevate and celebrate marriage. And so I just want to share a little of how ReEngage got started here at Pathway. And about 4 or 5 years ago, Pastor Ron and I, we were talking about what we wanted to do to make Pathway a place of hope and healing for marriages and family. And we knew that we needed to go after marriages in a strategic way, that we needed to somehow create a path that people could walk in to find discipleship in the area of their marriage, that they could learn what it means to have a Christ-centered marriage and learn what all God intended for marriage, because it's so lost in our culture and even sometimes in church circles. So Ron and I went down to a place called Watermark in Dallas, Texas, where they were doing this ministry called ReEngage. And we spent a few days with them, and we came back from that conference knowing we have got to do this. So we began to pray about this. We began to say, but who could help us do this? Because we cannot do this on our own. It takes people. And so we began to pray. We began to invite people into this idea of ReEngage and a 16-week ministry to really spend time talking about what it means to have a Christ-centered marriage. And so 4 years later, we've had about 1,000 people through ReEngage discipled and lives transformed. And we have 25 to 30 couples that lead this group and lead this ministry. And one of our key leaders, in fact, are with us today, and that's Dustin and Kendra Diller. And you guys have been with us since the beginning. And they're amazing leaders, and we love working with them. So, hi, guys. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm just going to ask you guys a few questions so that you guys can enlighten the folks out there on what exactly ReEngage is. So, Kendra, what is ReEngage, and why should a couple sign up for it?
Well, ReEngage is in simple words, it's a marriage enrichment class, and it's something that can be good for any marriage, whether you have been married for a year, whether you've been married for 25 years or 40 years or whatever. It's something that brings you closer to God, brings you closer to your spouse. It helps even you just as a person connect with God and understand how to be the kind of wife or the kind of husband that your spouse needs and that God has created for you to be. So it's very scriptural based, and it's just been a wonderful class for us. We have seen couples whose marriage have been on the rocks. We've seen couples who have started out with a great marriage, and all kinds of people can benefit from this class.
Awesome. Dustin, Kendra, could you guys share a story of just something you've experienced working with other couples within ReEngage?
Yeah, so I think the coolest part about being leaders is that it's not like we're on this pedestal and everyone else needs to look towards us. It's been really, honestly, the coolest part has been the people that we've met through it. The couples that we met have become some really, really close, good friends. And that's been one of the coolest parts about it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think one story that stands out in my mind, there was one couple that was in our group one time, and they were actually getting ready to have a baby about 6 weeks into the class, and they up front kind of told us, we may not be back after 6 weeks after we have this baby. And in one of the first weeks, the husband shared some really tough stuff they were facing in their marriage and some really rocky things happening. And he looked at us and said, so you have 6 weeks to fix us. And he was kind of joking, but also I'm sure he was kind of not. And so but we just saw God do an amazing work in them. The only week that they missed was the week they actually had the baby, and they were back the next week. And we saw them grow week after week after week. They really dove into the material and worked hard. And now they are ReEngage coaches for other people. So stories like that are why we do this. Like, it just makes us realize just how powerful our God is. And if we are willing to do the work, he wants us to have a great marriage.
Yeah, I think we've seen over and over just the story of redemption. I mean, really, it's the gospel that is being demonstrated over and over, because so many of our leaders, Regina and I included, have had so many messes within our marriage. And our mess becomes our message when we let God get involved. And we just have so many messages that God is bigger than our messes. And so none of us that lead are by any means, like Dustin said, we're far from perfect, but we are truly seeking God and his redemption and the way that he transforms our hearts and tenderizes our hearts so that we become better spouses. It's truly miraculous, the things that we get to see. So Kendra, what does a typical night of ReEngage look like?
Well, typical night, we have a lot of fun, actually. We have small group time where maybe 4 to 6 couples meet with a leader couple, and we just like to get to know each other and have a lot of fun. Our group usually laughs a lot, but we also dive into the material and have some really good conversations and some really good encouraging moments with each other. And I think we have been just as encouraged as any kind of encouragement we could give other people as well. There's also large group teaching time where Gordon does a great job of diving into the different topics and the different chapters of the week. So we've learned a lot from him, and he just does a great job of bringing it to a way that's practical and memorable and something that helps us to grow.
Well, I am so looking forward to ReEngage in 2021 with you guys. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be right around the corner, too, the holidays, and then we jump right into it. Hey, just a couple of things you need to know. You can register now for ReEngage by just getting on the PCC website, looking for ReEngage, clicking on to the registration, and registering. The cost is very minimal. We have a $40 childcare. No matter how many kids you have, if you need childcare, we want to provide that for you. And that's pretty cheap babysitting, isn't it? For $40. And it's more than just babysitting, because your kids get to interact with God in some way, because our child care workers are so great at bringing something for the kids, and they love it. They always want to come back, and I always hear great reports about that. So you have a safe place to bring them. And then there's $20 for the workbooks, $10 a piece, and you're in. So register. I also want to let you know that we do have a limited Zoom option. So if you absolutely cannot make it and be in a public space right now, we do have the Zoom option for you. Just let us know when you register, you're looking for the Zoom option. The only other thing I have to say is it's January 18th, and we want to see you there. We're trusting that God's going to do some amazing things, because he always does. He's so faithful with that. So, and if you yourself can't make it, we want to encourage you to look around at some friends that you have that make benefit from ReEngage, and let them know it's happening. Let them know how to register. Have them call the church office. We'll get them registered. So we're just, again, so excited about what God is going to do. And for the rest of you that aren't going to be involved directly, we would love your prayer, because this is a spiritual journey, and there's a lot of spiritual battle with this for so many people. But God is bigger, and God made marriage, and he is for marriage, and he is for you. So it is so much fun to watch God transforming these hearts and these lives.